Well, John, thanks for taking the time to talk with me. I'm Michael Giltz from BookFilter, and we're here at BookCon, obviously. BookCon. Brought to you by Repop, which is only in the little corner there.
Yeah.
And earlier this week was the Book Expo of America. You also attended that. And that's where the publishing industry talks to itself. And now BookCon is where the publishing industry tries to talk to the rest of the world, the actual readers.
Right, right.
So that's exciting. You know a lot about BookCon. You've been to BookCon. You've launched a con of yourself, VidCon. Have you ever been to a ComicCon?
I have. I've been to a bunch of Comic-Cons, never as a guest, always as a nerd. But yeah, I love Comic-Cons.
And that's exciting. It's like 100,000 people coming together to talk about stuff that they love. It's
pretty intense, yeah. I mean, the San Diego Comic-Con is really, really overwhelming. There's some smaller comic-oriented conferences around that are a little more my pace, but the San Diego one is amazing.
The New York one is really big now.
Yeah, yeah.
So BookCon is really in its early stages. It started last year, and the book publishers, I don't know if you were kind of where they were like, what? We're going to have readers here? What will we do with them? So they're getting used to the idea of having readers flood into the convention after the publishing area is here. But you're here, and it's exciting to see. It's like 10 to 15,000 people, maybe 20,000 people this year. And I think the sky's the limit, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of people who love books, and it's nice when you can meet your fellow book lovers, meet authors you like, get some galleys if you're lucky, walking around the publishers, get some advanced copies, and get a chance to kind of see publishing from the perspective of publishers. I think it's really good to, when industry conferences can also be sort of consumer-facing, front-facing conferences that welcome in the community that makes our work possible.
Mm-hmm. You launched VidCon, which is, of course, brought together video bloggers.
Yeah.
And was that 10 times or 20 times as much work as you thought?
Well, there's almost no work for me. My brother does all the work.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, so I'm fortunate to have an extremely ambitious brother who's much more successful than I am, and that's been really my main strategy my whole career has been to just ride my brother's coattails and take credit when possible. But no, VidCon's definitely a lot of work, and we're very proud of how much it's grown, but mostly we're proud that that it's a conference that's held fast to its values and remained a conference about bringing people together instead of, like, I guess, just
promoting work or something.
Yeah, just an industry conference.
Mm-hmm. So you are here, of course, about books.
Yeah.
You're an author of an abundance of novels, including Looking for Alaska and The Fault in Our Stars, and, of course, Paper Towns, which is coming out as a movie on July 24th. So you're here with the stars, and I'm sure some of the creative talent behind the camera, at a panel to talk about the movie. That's got to be fun. Yeah,
I'm really excited. It's always fun to talk to people who care about the book about the movie, because I want to tell them that it's going to be okay.
They're like, as you said, they're always like, is it going to be exactly like the book? You're not going to change anything, are you?
Yeah, and of course they did change some stuff, but I think it was smart changes, and I'm really proud of the movie, and I hope everybody likes it as much as I did.
It's kind of like telling someone a story, and then someone else tells you the story back.
Yeah, it's always very different, and it's also just an inherently different medium. I mean, you tell textual stories differently from how you tell visual stories, and so I think some of the differences in adaptation can make a movie better than the movie would be if it were, quote-unquote, more faithful. So ultimately, I'm more concerned about the movie being great than faithful, but
it can't be great if it's faithful. Really.
Fortunately, it's both.
If it's great, it's like The Great Gatsby from 1972.
Yeah.
It's just tiresome and awful. But the scene that's very bold and exciting is when they repeat all of Song of Myself by Walt Whitman. Not the entire
yeah,
the
I think they're gonna,
monologue.
yeah, they
really
cut out a little of Song of Myself.
It's fun when people come here, and of course, the one question they all ask you is, when will we read your next book? Why don't you have a button or a T-shirt that says, I don't know?
I really don't know, yeah. I am fortunate to do work I love, and
fortunate that they care. That's nice.
Yeah, and to have readers who want another book. But you know, I'm very focused right now on the work that my brother and I get to do in online educational video, and I'm sure that at some point I'll write another book, and I hope to write another book soon. But I love the kind of the day job that I have, and don't want to give it up.
You mean Crash Course? Is that overseeing that? That, of course, is a series of online videos and now a TV show.
Yeah.
Is that the right way to describe it?
Well, we don't really have a TV show. We have, it's just an online educational series for teachers and students to use to kind of get an introduction in AP level, AP high school level to different subjects of study from everything from biology and chemistry to world history, American history, government, psychology, literature. Yeah, so we're trying. We're really enjoying doing that, and I'm very passionate about online video and making, you know, really high quality educational video available free for everyone forever. And we've been very, very fortunate to be able to do that with Crash Course, and we want to kind of keep that ball rolling downhill.
I guess I thought of it TV because you're tying with PBS now, right?
Yeah, so we work a lot with PBS Digital, and they do distribute some to TV stations, but we're very focused on the online component of it, because my concern is how can we make sure that teachers and students all over the world can have free access, not just to the video content, but now to also curriculum materials, lesson plans, and primary source collections, all kinds of stuff.
Which, since you have tablets and ebooks and a book on English history really shouldn't have to pay $150.
Yeah, you should.
Sorry, textbook industry.
Things should be free. Educational tools should be free to students around the world, and it's an unfair hurdle to make students and teachers jump over, and it creates two classes of learners when we shouldn't have that. We should have a educational materials world where everyone has equal access. As
passionate as you are about online video and all that stuff, are you a little leery of the online schools and people who want? There's sort of a weird combination.
I don't want to. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the differences between Crash Course and a lot of the online educational startups is that we're not trying to replace classrooms in any way. We're not trying to become a classroom. I think those things can be very useful, particularly for learners in the developing world who might not have access to traditional educational opportunities. But we really want to be a part of the classroom experience. We want to be. I don't think that there's any replacement for a good teacher in an actual physical classroom, and so
the best video in the world is not going to replace it.
Yeah, it's not supposed to. It shouldn't. It should try to introduce some nuance and some context so that the conversation that the teacher can have with students can be better, quicker. It shouldn't try to replace that conversation.
And schools that experiment, like a charter school, it's great. Come up with new ideas, new models, and if it works, it spreads and everybody adopts it. But I think we see that you have to support public education. If you use charter schools as an excuse to undermine unions and undermine teachers and take away the students that are easier to teach and leave the rest behind, that's not a solution either for helping schools.
Hank and I are big believers in public education and supporting public schools and public educational opportunities. We both went to public school, but more importantly, we both see public education as a critical social good. It's not. I don't have kids who are attending public school because my kids are little, but it's tremendously important to me, nonetheless, to have an educated population.
Mm-hmm. One of the books that you cover in Crash Course is, of course, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Given the drama around the release of Harper Lee's new book and the purity of I have one book, there it is, it's perfect. Are you more excited or more scared to read her new novel?
Oh, I'm excited to read it. I mean, you never know the full story behind these things, and I certainly don't know the story, but I'm excited to read the novel, and I think it's good for publishing to have the novel into the world. And I don't really believe in that a novelist is better because they only have one novel, or that a novelist is better because they only have one great novel. I think that we're always better with more stuff in the world. And
if you're going to have a supervillain, Bladder really is a great name for one.
Oh, yeah.
Think?
Yeah,
Are you excited about FIFA? And, I mean, I love football. I love soccer, as people know it in America.
Yeah. I'm excited to clean up the sport. I think it's really important. I don't think we have a future. I think the future of soccer is in doubt when people doubt the validity of outcomes, and there's lots of reasons to doubt it. So I think it's great to clean up the sport. I think that it's great to get rid of corruption, but I honestly think that we've probably just gotten started on that front.
Yeah. Well, have a great time at BookCon, and thanks for talking with me.
Thanks. Great to talk to you.
Bye-bye.